Welcome to Bronco Beat. I'm here with Will Reynolds, and we're going to hop right into things today, talking about how the show has been going so far for him. So Will, how's Bronco Beat been going this year so far?
Bronco Beat's been going really well so far. I think we're having a lot of fun filming the show. It's been a blast producing it, and Will Ryan's doing a great job of editing the show as well. So are you going to send it? Are you silly? It's time for Bronco Beat. Welcome back to Bronco Beat. We're going to start off today's program by recapping last week's action, starting with football out at Lloyd Wilson Field, where our Will Reynolds is standing by. Thanks, Will. I'm here at Lloyd Wilson Field, where the Hastings Broncos rolled over the Briarcliff Chargers on Saturday, beating them 45-14. The Broncos were led by Anthony Cloyd with 323 yards of total offense, responsible for 3 scores. Taj Willingham led the ground attack with 192 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Noah Hausch caught 2 passes for 92 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now we're going to send it over to Lynn Fairlarena to cover volleyball. Thanks, Will. The Hastings volleyball team swept College of St. Mary on Saturday in Omaha, 3-0. They were led by Cassidy Ostran, who had 11 kills and 5 block assists. And most recently, on Wednesday night, the Broncos, in their Dig Pink night, swept Concordia, 3-0. They were led by Casey Krolikowski, who had 11 kills, and Jill Bax, who had 8 aces. Now we're going to send it over to Lloyd Wilson Field to cover the soccer teams. Thanks, Will. The men's and women's soccer teams both traveled up to Dakota Wesleyan last Saturday to face the Tigers. The men won by a final score of 7-1 off of a hat trick from Daniel Whitehall, and the women won by a score of 4-0. Heidi Barch scored her 11th goal this season in that match. On Tuesday, the women tied Midland after going into double overtime, and the men walked out with a 2-0 victory. Daniel Whitehall struck again. Back to you in the studio, Will. Ready?
Ready.
Ready to go?
You ready to race?
You want to race?
Let's race, yo.
All right.
Let's go to the track.
Welcome back to Bronco.
Whoa, what are you wearing, dude?
Dude, Janelle Bethea is here. I'm trying to race her. That's why I'm in this outfit.
Well, you can do that after. You need to wear some professional clothes on Bronco Beat. We're professional here.
I thought this was my show, but
No, it's my show.
whatever.
Get
Cut.
off.
All right, does this look good enough?
Yeah,
A lot better. A lot better.
Picky, picky, picky. All right, welcome back to Bronco Beat. I'm here with Janelle Bethea, who is on the women's cross-country team and track team for Hastings College. So how are you doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good. You miss BNN?
I do miss BNN a lot.
Janelle was my co-anchor on BNN a couple times last school year. However, this time we're going to focus on cross-country. So just a little bit of background. Tell us about your story. How did you end up at Hastings College?
I ended up at Hastings College. I believe I was a senior in high school when I received a letter from Hastings College, and it was actually handwritten by my coach, Ryan Mahoney. And I always knew that I wanted to run in college, but I didn't know if that was like a possibility. Like my times were going down my senior year, but I still just like wasn't really like good like time-wise. But he reached out to me, and it just kind of went well from there, I guess. Sorry, that's a little rough. Yeah.
No, that's usually how it goes. I mean, coaches recruit, and it's on all sorts of ways. So, being a runner, obviously, I see your Snapchat stories and all that stuff, and you're always running 4, 5, 6 miles. What does running mean to you?
Running means a lot of things to me. It's just, I don't even know. Running is literally a part of everything in my life. It takes place on and off like the track. I can see it like when I'm working in school and when I go to my jobs. It's just like that kind of discipline and that hard work that just like you see it translate from running to everything you do in life. And it just gives me a really good feeling like all day long. Like after I finish a run, it can last for like days up to weeks, and it's just like an overall good feeling about yourself.
What got you into running? Why'd you start?
I started running in high school. I tried out for the basketball team, which I wasn't good at basketball at all. And a lot of my friends on the team did track, and they were like, hey, Janelle, you should come out for track. And so I went out that year, my junior year. I went out as a sprinter, and I made varsity, and I was average. And then the distance coach was like, hey, you should come try out for distance. And that's where I really saw my talent grow. And, and it just went uphill from there.
What's been the toughest part about making a transition from high school running and high school sports to now in college?
The biggest difference, we tell this to everyone, including the freshmen, is your mileage goes up and what's expected of you goes up. So your workouts are harder, your times are dropping, and what my coach likes to say is every year that you get older, it gets that much harder to get back into shape and to get your times to go down. But yeah, I would just say the mileage and the intensity of your workouts changes from high school to college. And
I see on your shirt it says Nationals team for Hastings Track and Field. So, you guys have been there before, and I know you have personal goals. So talk about those a little bit.
My personal goals is definitely to drop my times, especially the 5K and the 10K for indoor and outdoor. One of my personal goals for cross country has always been to be an All-American and run in the 17s. So to be All-American, you have to place in the top 50 at nationals. We have to make it to nationals first. So either our team can make it if we're top 4 at conference, or you can make it as an individual if you're the next 4 individuals outside of the teams that make it to nationals. So I would just really like to see myself push myself harder than I ever have in my 4 years of running, and I just want to see all my goals met this year.
So after covering a little bit of track there, I kind of want to talk about just your life a little bit. So I know that you spent some time in a group home. And what was that time in your life like? I mean,
I would definitely say I grew up differently from other people, but it has definitely made me the person I am today. I lived with a family for 13 years of my life, and things just didn't work out as they should, and I ended up in a group home, and it was kind of hard for me because I was just starting out high school, so I was a freshman, and I lived in that group home until I was halfway through my sophomore year, and it was just really hard because I could deal with it emotionally and physically, but it was just really hard when I got to school and I wasn't like everyone else, and I couldn't do what everyone else did. And the biggest thing that I ever wanted to be was I just wanted to be normal. So I did my best to fit in. But my sophomore year, I ended up meeting, her name's Julie Pickle, and she was the equipment manager at my school, and I was turning in money for a basketball uniform, and we got talking, and she found out that I lived in a group home, and it just it spiraled from there, and we had a relationship that you just can't describe to people, and a lot of people just didn't understand. And so that's why I'm here today, is because of her.
It's a pretty touching story. You know, it's crazy where life takes us and the journey that it takes us on, but I think, you know, when all's said and done, you end up where you're meant to be, and you're meant to be at Hastings College, and you're here now. So it's a pleasure having you today.
Thank you.
That's all we have for our interview with Janelle Bethea. We'll be right back with some more Bronco Beat. Welcome back to Bronco Beat. Now it's time to preview next week's schedule. The football team will travel to Sioux Center to play Dordt College, who's receiving votes in the most recent national poll. That game will be 1 p.m. on Saturday. Volleyball will go up to Yankton to play Mount Marty on Saturday the 14th. Soccer teams, both the men and women, will both play here at Lloyd Wilson Field on the Hastings College campus. The women will start at 2 o'clock, shortly followed by the men at 4:15. The shooting team has their first home invitational, the Bronco Invitational, up in Grand Island this weekend. And that's it for sports, as it is fall break now on the Hastings College campus, and we are closing in on the end of the GPAC season. Now we'll take a look at our Bronco Athlete of the Week, as well as a poll update. Now it's time for the Bronco Athlete of the Week. The Bronco Athlete of the Week is Casey Krolikowski. Between her match on Saturday against College of St. Mary and Wednesday night against Concordia, she totaled 18 kills, which led the team, and 3 aces. Now it's time for a poll update. Bronco football moved up from 24 to tied for 19th with Doane. Men's soccer stays at number 8 in the country, while women's soccer remains at number 20. Volleyball remains at number 4, and women's cross country is ranked 17th. That's it for this week on Bronco Beat. Thank you for watching. Special thanks to our field correspondent, Will Reynolds. Oh, it was my pleasure. We'll be back same place, same time next week after fall break.